If you're not familiar with the things that go on in the streets, let me let you know right now. I'm gonna tell you how somebody told me. You see, on the streets, there's this thing. It describes a process when somebody wants to go from one territory to the other territory, and that process is called checking in. Yeah, some of the drug kingpins and gangsters know what I'm talking about. You see, someone can't just go from one territory to the other territory without the head henchman saying, does anybody know this guy? What's his rap sheet? What's his history? Who's his family? What has he done to deserve to be in this territory? Who is he? He's got to check in. Now, while the drug kingpins and the gangsters may call it checking in the streets, the federal government calls it legal immigration in the USA. So that's what we have today. We have an issue concerning DACA, Deferred Action for the Childhood Arrivals. See, this is what happened, let me tell you, and then we'll go home. Back in the 1980s, we had an issue with illegal immigration. To the sum of 3 million folks that came over to this country were not born in this country. Their parents were not born in this country. They just showed up without checking in. And don't act like you all have not benefited from those that came over here without checking in. Don't act like you didn't have some illegal immigrants do some work on your car, do some work on your house, do some work in your lawn. Don't act like you haven't benefited some way, somehow from some illegal immigrants. But we had in the 1980s a sum of about 3 million, and Ronald Reagan tried to enact some legislation to deal and get rid of the illegal immigration process for once and for all, but that didn't work. And so in the 90s, in the 2000s, the early 2000s, still wasn't working. We found that the number of illegal immigrants quadrupled. You know, America loves the law. We love being in accordance with the law. So we're just trying to make sure that these illegal immigrants have some type of pathway to citizenship. That was the common value, the common theme. And so we get along to the Obama administration, and he's looking around and saying, wait a minute, the sins of the fathers and the mothers who were these illegal immigrants have been passed down to the children. Because how many of you all know when the illegal immigrants came over to America and said, oh man, I'm doing well in this country? They got on the phone and they said, hey, my son, my daughter, I want them to come to this country too and enjoy the fruits of the labor that I provided in this wonderful country. So come on. So the sons and the daughters came. How many of you all know children are innocent? They didn't know that they were going to come here illegally. They didn't know that they wouldn't be a U.S. citizen. They didn't know that they wouldn't be able to vote. They didn't know that they wouldn't be able to get federal employment. They didn't know that they wouldn't be able to obtain scholarships from public colleges because they're not a U.S. citizen. And so President Obama was like, hey, Congress, y'all need to do something about this. We got to protect these children. We'll deal with the illegal immigrants who are the adults. We'll deal with them later. But right now, we need to protect the children. Come on, Congress, go ahead and do it. Congress looked at it, but nothing happened. And so that's why you have DACA. What Obama did was he unilaterally took the executive power for himself and actually ensured that the Department of Homeland Security did this DACA thing. And let me explain it to you. This DACA thing is an opportunity for those, let me get my music right. It's an opportunity for those who are the children of these immigrants to be able to apply for work permits. And so when they apply for these work permits, they're able to have these work permits for about 2 years, and then they're able to renew them. So they're not being faced with deportment. They can continue contributing to society like they always have been. Can I tell you they have contributed to society? There have been multiple studies that have shown, I'm not talking about the adults, I'm talking about the children of the adults that came. There have been multiple studies that have shown that they have contributed positively to society. There has been no preponderance of evidence that they have been criminals, in most cases. Most study and most information shows that they have gone on to get college degrees. They have been able to contribute professionally and in other ways to our society. So we found that this DACA, this initiative to help these children, was beneficial. So President Obama enacted the DACA. And so then what happened, what we found was anytime one political party enacts something, another political party, when they come into office, they want to get rid of it. So that's what Donald Trump did in September 2017. He said, look, enough with this DACA. I'm getting rid of it. But you know what? I'm a fair man. I love the kids. Congress, I'm going to give y'all 6 months to come up with something that can protect these children that came over because of the actions of their illegal parents. And so where are we today? We are in a situation whereby in March, the DACA initiative is going to end. And so really, it's time to put up or shut up. Congress, you saw in the meeting that was televised with Donald Trump, they are trying to figure out, hey, what are we going to do? Are we going to enact some legislation? But here's the key thing, you all. President Trump has made it clear, emphatically clear. Here's the kicker. You don't get DACA until I get my wall. I'm going to say it one more time for those who wasn't paying attention. He says, look, Congress, you can come up with whatever you want. You can put it on my desk, and I will sign it based on one thing that needs to be in there. You dreamers, you want DACA? I want my wall. And so here we have, and I'm going to give you my take and give you a little bit more information, and I'm going to go. Here's my stance on this DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Here's my takeaway. Since when did putting a wall up be a factor in keeping the children in? I'll say that one more time. When did putting a wall up, not the smartest man in the world, but when you put a wall up, that typically means you're trying to keep some people out. And keeping people out, that's the overall immigration situation. That's not just DACA. Come on now, we're focusing on just DACA right now. The timeline is affecting DACA, the March timeline. Putting a fence is supposed to keep people out. But I thought, Republicans and Democrats, I thought we were trying to keep those children in because they've been so wonderful in, most of the time, in contributing to our society. So I don't understand. To me, those things are mutually exclusive. DACA and the wall, those things are mutually exclusive. You don't need one to have the other. But some things are being politicized in this situation, and so we got to figure out what's going on. Oh, come on now. That wall, first of all, can I tell you, why are we even considering the wall right now when we were promised that the wall was going to be built by Mexico? Why are we talking about a wall if we already know who's supposed to pay for it? Okay, just throw that to the side. Okay, so we're talking about a wall that's going to cost $18 billion, whereby if you get the wall for $18 billion, I mean, that's probably going to take away some funds from much needed things like national defense. I'm talking about the military and things like that. So, okay, DACA and the wall, that's my stance. We got to do something about DACA. I understand the overall immigration thing is really complex. I understand that we got to get rid of chain migration. Some of you all looked that up. Chain migration is when basically a system where illegal immigrants can keep on coming into the country, not based on anything merit-wise, but just based on who they're related to. So they say they have somebody who's already in the country, that's their kinfolk, as we like to say, or their brother, their sister, their uncle, their auntie, whoever, and then they can come on to the land based on that. Chain migration. But they want to move to a merit system, and that's worth investigating. But again, we're not trying to tackle the overall immigration thing in 2 months. This is DACA. And so the last thing I want to tell you all, because you're looking at this video and you're saying, well, look, I'm not an illegal immigrant. I don't know why I need to focus on DACA. You know, hey, if I have less workers helping me out on my house projects and on my car projects, and if I can't get some of those guys to come and hop in my truck from Home Depot on Saturday mornings, oh well, it doesn't affect me. Oh, but don't be so sure that it doesn't affect you. You see, what happens is we have 800,000 of these children from these illegal immigrants that we're trying to protect, right? 800,000, about 800,000 that have applied for home loans and car loans and are working in the industry. Okay, let's go back to those loans. Many of you all apply for loans for cars and loans for college and loans for houses. So if you, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but if you send 800,000 people out of this country to go to another country, but they still are on the paperwork regarding these bank loans, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to default on their loans. Do you know what happens to the greater community when a specific community defaults on loans? That means that house that you were trying to get, that car that you were trying to get, that scholarship or that college experience that you were trying to get, what you think that interest rate does? Goes up, goes up, goes up. So what you thought was going to be a 2% payback now is ending up like a 6 or 7 or 8%. I don't know about you, but I don't have time in this economy to be going through increases in interest rates like that. So that's how DACA affects you. And that's why you need to be talking to your representative in Congress and Senate and talking about, hey man, hey woman, you need to go ahead and get this DACA thing finished because I'm not trying to pay these high interest rates. What else? There's also another situation where, like I mentioned in the beginning, DACA individuals have contributed greatly to our society. Yeah, what's going to happen when, can I get real specific but not long, when the gross national product decreases because of all the people who have contributed to the society economically, they're being deported? What happens when the value of our dollar and our economy weakens because of that, they're exiting this country? Did we ever think about that? That's why what's happening in DC affects you. That's why I make this video. If you liked anything about this video, I want you to like this video. I want you to share this video. And I want you to leave me a comment on this video. I thank you for joining me today. I'm Derek Cash. That's what's on my mind. New podcast coming soon. Y'all subscribe to me. Peace.